talk to me afterwards if you want to hear more stories about like awkward places that Smart has sent me over the years. I've been in, like I mentioned, high performance sports environments, prisons with prison inmates in the room too. So all that to say that like if our technology can help students learn, it can help everybody learn more effectively, no matter what stage of life that you're at, right? So what I'm actually going to talk about is a little bit about this product that we're seeing right here, right now in front of you. This is called the Smartboard Mini. And quite literally, it is a mini smartboard. So if you know anything about smart technologies and what we do, you probably have like this image in your mind of like the old projector systems, kind of like this, where you'd walk up to it and there might have been like a color tray where you can push the buttons and change the colors and do all that kind of stuff. Now, most of what we do is interactive flat panels. So units somewhat like, kind of like these, right? Put these at the front of a room in a boardroom space or in a classroom, and you can draw all over everything. But there's some drawbacks to that, especially when you're in an environment somewhat like what we're in right now, where you might actually want to face your audience and be able to still interact, but also read body language, read faces, and make sure that people are actually engaged without turning your back to people, right? So this unit, this Smartboard Mini, is what's helping us accomplish that. So I don't know if you noticed or not, but I just walked in here and I wired in, and once I had my wires in the right spot, everything just kind of worked for me, right? We've had this product in the past. It used to be referred to as a podium, like the Smart Podium. Some people would know the term Symposium or Symposium. We've had those in the past. This is a unit that's shipping in the next couple of weeks here. So before the end of June, that's going to give people a couple of really powerful abilities, right? So all I have here is I plugged in my laptop. And I'll be honest, it's not even a very good laptop. So don't worry about like what kind of tech you have in your rooms. Plugged in my laptop with a single USB-C cable. And now I'm literally controlling my entire desktop right from this device, right? So my fingertip is always a mouse click. I can launch PowerPoint. I can launch a web browser. I can open up Teams, Zoom, Google, Hangout, Meet, whatever, and be able to share my screen with anybody who's not even in the room, right? This unit also has a camera that I can use to be on camera with. And by the way, everybody asks, like, can you get it without the camera? Yes, you can. You just chuck it out the window and away you go, right? So there's also a microphone built into this unit as well, and speakers. So you have the ability with just this guy here by itself and a computer of some kind to walk up to your content and be able to draw into it. Now, I got to be honest with you folks before I go any further. I'm one of those people, I can't like talk and draw at the same time. So you might notice some awkward pauses. Just bear with me. It's all good. It's all me, not you. The other thing about this is that it's got HDMI and USB-C in and out, which is why I was able to just walk in here and quickly wire in and have you actually be able to see everything that I've got on my screen. And then obviously what it's doing is it's distinguishing between different kinds of touch. So I can walk in here, use my fingertip to again navigate around. My pen is automatically a pen in literally any application that I want, right? So writing on my desktop produces this little ink note, but I can also open up a web browser. I can open up a web browser. I can open up a web, there we go, the right web browser. And what you'll notice is that as I add content in here as well, all of my annotations stay where I put them, right? It's not an overlay. It's not floating over top. My ink is smart enough to know exactly where it's supposed to be. The other really fun example here is PowerPoint. So let me just jump into presentation mode real quickly here. You've already seen this slide, but what you haven't seen is me marking up all over this slide, pointing out things that are really important, and then I'm going to advance my slide, and all of my ink stays exactly where I put it, right? So if I exit out of this presentation, all of my annotations stay exactly where I put them, and I can send this off to my students and they'll see everything. Or I can send it off to all of my faculty members, all my teammates, with all my labels about who I like best and why, and they will feel encouraged by that, right? Hopefully. So, yeah.
When you exit, does it still ask you to save the annotations like it used to on a podium monitor?
It doesn't for me anymore. Every once in a while, honestly, when I open up PowerPoint, it'll kind of recheck like, hey, do you want to keep them now? And I'll say yes. But it's in this case in PowerPoint, it's smart enough to know that we're leveraging Microsoft Ink here. So if I save this and then went, oh shoot, I actually don't want to have that stuff, I can just click it and then delete it if I want to. So really easy to kind of manage that in these kinds of applications, right? So you have the ability to really flexibly annotate into all the different kinds of content that you might have. You have the ability to do so in a way that's intuitive and easy to use. And for anybody in here who's, I don't know, responsible for IT, this was like pretty easy to set up. I don't know if you noticed, but not a very heavy lift in terms of getting it all set up and ready to go, right? So simple.
How many of those USB-C IOs are on board?
So you can come look at some point if you want to here, but I've got one USB-C in and a USB-C out, and then HDMI in and HDMI out as well too. Yeah. The other thing about this experience that's different and sets us apart, aside from that USB-C HDMI in and out, is that there's an OPS slot back here too. So if you wanted to have a PC literally installed in the unit, you can do that. Or if you wanted to have an Android experience, like an app-based experience installed in here as well, we have that. So you can literally slot something in and have all your different apps on here that you can utilize to, I don't know, Jira or Google or Teams, whatever, and do it right from the panel itself. And you may or may not notice there's two screw holes back here. It's actually a mounting plate that ships with the unit for putting it on a monitor arm as well. So you can not just be limited to having it on a desk like this, you can have it float if you want to as well, which is fantastic, right? So what does this all mean? What does it all amount to? It amounts to a very flexible and easy to use device that's going to help you communicate in a way that's more effective and help your students stay engaged as well too. And also for those who are more concerned about like making the faculty more effective or giving them the tools that they need to have, hey, I mean, it works for me, and I might not be as sophisticated as some of them, but it helps me communicate, I think, a little bit more effectively. You all know how happy I am to be here because of this little note right now, right? So I can talk forever, unfortunately, but what I want to do, how much time do I have left, actually?
I think you have, it looks like, so we want to end at 1:45, it is 1:20.
Oh, perfect.
As much time as possible.
Excellent. Cool. What I want to do, I see a couple of hands popping up. So let's answer some questions. And then maybe what I'll do is if you have any questions after we're done as well, come by our booth. We're going to be here for a few more hours for sure. But we'll find a way to fill the last few minutes, get people out here a little bit early as well too. So questions. Thanks for caring. Yeah.
Two questions. What is the base unit run in American dollars? And will the tariff situation affect availability of the product?
Yeah, those are two really great questions. I'm guessing other people were probably thinking about that as well. So sub 2,000, probably closer to like 1,600 per unit. That's like MSRP. So that can change. That's not including like shipping costs and those kinds of things. In terms of tariffs, I'm a little bit behind on that, to be honest with you. I'm on the road all the time and missed a call on that just last week. That's an ever sort of changing environment for us. But what we do is we do as much as we possibly can to mitigate those changes. So, you know, even with the tariff situation being what it is, I don't expect the price to rise certainly over that $2,000 mark. So that's kind of the latest that I have. In terms of stock, we're still building units now. So this will be on the market, units shipping to end customers by they're telling me end of May. I'm just going to sandbag a bit and say like mid-June. So at this point, we're planning to be fully stocked and be ready to ship units out around that time. So I don't know what our initial stock levels will be, but we're anticipating a lot of excitement around this product. So I know we have a whole bunch of units coming. So like thousands. So yeah.
So I remember on the old Smart Podium 624, the pen was wired.
Uh-huh.
Is there any sort of, since now this one's wireless, is there any sort of pairing that needs to happen, or could we just order like 50 of those pens because they're going to walk away? Do they just work on whichever one you walk up to? Or?
Great question. So I don't know all the details about that. It's a fantastic question, but I can add a little color here. So number one, this does ship with a tether. So if you wanted to, it's kind of hard to see from where you're at, but you can actually wire the pen in with this it's not steel, but it's kind of like a giant spring basically. So it's not going to walk away as easily. If you want replacement pens, yes. I don't know the exact price. In fact, I asked this question like an hour ago to the product manager. He said somewhere below similar market, like similar pens on the market. So the cap price for a new pen would be, as far as I could tell, like $70. But I expect it'll be closer to like 40, honestly. In terms of pairing them, I don't know, honestly. What I did when I took this unit out of the box a few days ago was I literally plugged it in, turned it on. This pen charges on the back of the unit. So I think what it does is once you plug it into a specific panel, it kind of pairs and figures it out. I didn't get any notification about that, but I'm guessing, yeah, you totally could just get another pen, put it on there, charge it for a minute, and then go. So, yeah. Yeah.
2 questions. Size of that is like 27, and does it come in different sizes? And then I have a software question.
Sure, yeah. So great question. This is a 27-inch display. Yep. At this point, no, it only comes in the single size. It's so new right now. We're kind of just sort of, we're going to try and like launch it at this particular size. Somebody in here came by and asked that same question. I think I'm going to give you the same answer that I gave to that gentleman, which is whenever I ask my PD team, like, hey, are we going to do different sizes? They get really kludgy and they go, why are you asking? Who wants it? How many do they want? When do they want it? What size do they want? So it sort of depends a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised though, if as long as this product does well, and we expect it to, that it would at some point be available in a smaller size. We've had a lot of people asking that question, and everything that we build, from all of our IFPs down to this unit, is all totally based on customer feedback. So if that's important to our customers, if a different size, we will absolutely consider that, no doubt.
And then my other question was software. It's still paired with notebook software, or how does it behave with Microsoft Whiteboard?
Great question. So I can easily go down like a deep smart software rabbit hole here, but I'll do my best not to do that. So you can always download and put Smart Notebook on a computer connected for sure, and it'll work the way you expect it to. There's no license costs for that. There's no like term of Notebook Plus included here, but you can always do that, right? It's not included though. In fact, the only software that I really am running right now from the smart side of things is Smart Ink, right? Which is that free driver that lets me just draw into everything. That's Smart Ink, and it's free, and it's always been free and always will be. So, and there's no like, what's the term? There's no like activation key for that. We don't ask even for your information to download. It just works, right? So there's that. And then I'm just using, again, like Microsoft apps, and this Meeting Pro software is the other thing that I have here. This is included with the Podium package that also includes a PC module. So we're going to sell these either standalone. You can just buy the unit by itself, or you can buy it with a PC module, either an i5 or an i7, or you can buy it with an AM60 Android module. The two PC module options will include this Meeting Pro software. So yeah, does that answer your question? Kind of getting close.
Yeah, just Microsoft Whiteboard was my only other one.
Right. Yes. So all of our software, in terms of like how Smart Ink works. In fact, I'm gonna kind of show you all right now. So this is that Smart Drivers and Ink icon here. So this is what I've downloaded, put on my computer in order for me to be able to draw. Notice when I open up OneNote and I begin to draw into this experience, the icon actually turns white, right? And that's because it knows that I'm utilizing a Microsoft application right now. Same thing in PowerPoint. I'm actually gonna go back to my desktop, turn the little guy back to my black pen color, and then I'll go into PowerPoint here. Same thing will happen. So with Microsoft Whiteboard, it should do the same thing, where you're able to lift your pen and draw automatically, right? And if nothing else, if absolutely nothing else, remember, your fingertip is always a mouse click. So if I wanted to, I can simply go to my drawing tools, really in any application, and do things this way as well too. So you've always got multiple ways to kind of accomplish the same desire to annotate into your content.
Right, yeah, because in rooms with dual projection, we have found that to use a completely separate whiteboard app and then save that separately. So yeah, that still works. That's great.
Awesome. Perfect.
One last note to feedback on that is our classrooms all have a Mac and PC built into the classroom have faculty that insist on using Office applications, but on the Mac.
Mhm.
So if you're using a different operating system, does it still talk with Microsoft Ink on a different operating system?
I believe so. So I'm a Mac guy at home. I iPad, MacBook, iPhone, and some of our technical guys actually are too. So our guys who like do design and technical support, they love the Mac experience. It's been a long time since I've tried Smart Ink on a Mac in Microsoft applications, but it behaves exactly the same way. The only difference between Microsoft setup of Smart Ink and Mac is that Mac makes you check one more like yes box before it let you use the software. And if you don't, you have to like go into the settings, find it, turn it on, and then it all works. That's the only difference. So I'm going to say yes, with the caveat that I haven't tried it in a long time, but it should, right? Because it's still just leveraging those Microsoft tools that are so familiar to all of us, right? So yeah, that's what I would say. 80% confident that yes, you can. If nothing else, you can at least do all of this, but I'd bet money that you can. Awesome. Questions, thoughts, comments from people? Anybody else? Cool. Was this useful for folks? Was this sort of like I saw a lot of nodding heads and like gears turning, I thought. Just to kind of sum things up and end on an important note, I think. Again, what we do is help people communicate more effectively, and that applies to anybody at any point in life, whether it's students in a K-12 classroom, whether it's cadets in an Army situation. The U.S. Army is a big customer of ours as well too. High performance sports, manufacturing, higher education. That's what we want to do, right? We want to make it easy for people. We want to make it intuitive, and we want to make it so that everybody who's involved in a session is getting more out of it, kind of increasing that I suppose meeting parity and removing that sense of being device-related or that device-elation that people experience, right? Whether they're on their phone, watching a class, or in the room. So that's what it's all about for us, and we want to make tools that help people do that. And I think we do personally, right? So come by the booth, come see us if you haven't already. I have lots of fun stories that I can tell you about fun, cool customers as well too. So if nothing else, if you get bored, come by and have a Snickers at our booth and we'll chat. And any other questions, come find me. Thank you again all for waiting. I'm really impressed that you all waited so long. I hope that my quick storm in here and setup is really just like, man, that product is easy and awesome and we should be talking about it. So thanks again. Appreciate it, everybody. Cheers.